So we just did a cover band, and we were a full-time cover band, and we weren't making any money. And we kept playing and playing and playing, and we developed a really good following. And we actually had, at that time, we had Ron House going on the lead guitar.
Yeah,
Ron just passed away.
Was Ron the guy with the red hair?
What's that?
Was Ron the guy with the red hair?
No, he had brown hair.
Was it real short like mine? No. Okay.
No. Ron had long hair. He was a maniac. But
no, you're a maniac.
What's that?
You're the maniac, Greg.
He played a BC rich bitch, and he said we used to do Ozzy, he used to do Randy Rhoads to a T. Anyway, we do the full-time cover band thing. We're making any money, but we got a pretty big following doing it. So then I said we should start doing originals, and the guys in the band told me no. I was kind of like, come on, we really got to do originals because this isn't getting us anywhere. We're just doing the fucking rotation and making Media 5 money, and we're not making any money because we had expenses. We'd be blowing speakers up and guitar strings and just this and that. Anyway, so I quit the band for 2 weeks, and because I wanted to do originals.
Right.
And I was playing with Matt McKeon.
No way.
At that time. Oh my God. And Matt was big on Rudy Sarzo at that point. Because remember, he was playing bass like Rudy Sarzo, which cracked me up. But Matt might not even remember this either. I don't know. Bless his heart.
So for those that don't know who are listening, Matt McKeon is in my cover band, Old School. He's the bass player in Old School. And by the way,
I'm so shocked to find out he has a last name.
We rebooted something here, so I wanted to let everybody know we are sitting here speaking to Gregg Malack, the infamous Gregg Malack from Philadelphia area, based out of Lansdale. He is the guy for the band Roughhouse, formerly known as Tease. And they were a formative band in the Philadelphia area when I was growing up, especially for us that played in music. They were one of the seminal bands, and they were signed to Columbia Records eventually. And the rest is Roughhouse history. And we're really happy to have you here. So I just want to do that preamble. Sorry to interrupt you, as you were.
Yeah, we went off air on Facebook. Then when you futzed around, you kicked us off Podbean.
Good.
So now we're all back. Now here, I just want to do a check. We're 15 minutes in, and the show can start now. Okay.
So as you were saying,
what a shit heap this is.
Oh, you got the great problems when you play live with Old School.
Yeah, well, usually it's because I fall on the floor and don't know where I am, but that's another story.
Okay.
Yeah, it's when we think about stuff, we screw it up.
Yeah. Don't think, play.
It's muscle memory only.
It's the best.
You have to come down here blindfolded.
I quit the band for a little while, and they called me up and said, "Listen, we want you back. We want to do originals too." So at the time, Media 5 was pushing Magnum. I don't know if you remember Magnum or not. They actually put a record out. They actually got signed to RCA, I think, after that.
I do not remember them. No.
Magnum, Lehigh Valley. Anyway, so I got back in the band. I'd written songs, and it was we did demos and shit like that, and got Brian Stover in the band, and
Brian, I think is the guy I remember. Maybe that's who I'm thinking.
Yeah, he was the other guitar player. And that's pretty much sort of how it started, And then we were lucky enough to have a guy that knew another band. I'll tell you what, this guy knew a band called Cheater, and he said that Cheater, it was the Media 5 full-time cover band. He said to Cheater, I opened up a new studio in my basement. Let me record you guys. And Cheater says, we don't do originals, we just do covers.
Oh.
So why don't you call up Greg? So he called me up, and I said, really? How much is it going to cost us? And he said, nothing. So we went to Pete Davis Studios up in, it's called Signal Sound Studios in Quakertown.
I've recorded there.
And you record? No, did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a great guy. Anyway, so it was his first shot. So we kind of like did Party Hardy, and we did I forget what the other side of the label, but it was a 45. This is back when bands made vinyl, and you had vinyl, you had CDs, but there was no, there was vinyl and cassettes, but there was no CDs at that time.
Right.
1983, 84. And we put the Party Hardies 45 out, and I started sending out to all the press, and we actually developed a buzz just off the 45.
It's a great song. That's why, man. I mean, it's got a hook. Everything's there that you want, and it was the right music at the right time.
We also did something called the Battle of the Bands for WZZO at the time.
Oh yeah,
and we played at House of Gardens at in Allentown, where Dorney Park is at.
Yeah,
there used to be a nightclub there at Dorney Park called Castle Gardens. It later burned down, but anyway, we did a.
Greg, didn't they all burn down at some point?
Only when somebody who was into sanitation needed the space.
Sorry.
So Dale had a backyard band, Battle of the Bands thing, and it was us, it was Magnum, it was a bunch of other bands, and we actually ended up winning the Battle of the Bands, which kind of blew our minds because Magnum was the favorite for Media 5 at the time. They were their top band, and they were getting all the best gigs, but we actually beat them. So that was kind of like threw us for a loop. Like, wow, that's pretty cool. We actually, So in the meantime, we recorded Pete's. The single went really well, and we said, you know what, Pete, what do you think about doing a few more songs? So that's kind of like how we did the record.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the record took a long time to do because it wasn't, state of the art like that. It was like, 8-track, wherever. So, but that's kind of like how that went. So it took us like a year or so to do the record, and we still kept doing the cover gigs. And then we slowly transitioned over to doing like originals. And luckily, Headbangers Ball, or not Headbangers Ball, that was
King of Dirt.
YSP.
Yeah, King of Dirt. Mark Didia.
Didia, yeah. So Mark Didia actually hooked onto the record. He liked the album. He said it reminded him of Rat. So at the time, Rat was really big.
I could see that. I could see that comparison.
When we mastered the record at the time, I think we actually used the Rat record as a standard. So anyway, so he started playing us on YSP. And that's kind of like when things started to take off, and then I was like a maniac. I lived with my parents, but I was like 24/7 band shit, right? You can relate to that. So I found out that Green World Records opened up an office in New York, and so I contacted a guy named Paul Murata. I sent him our record, and he liked it. So he said he'd like to have Green World put it out. In the meantime, we had Hit Parader magazine. Remember Hit Parader magazine?
Oh God, yeah. I used to have the pictures on my wall. Sorry.
They put out a compilation album of up and coming bands. So we got on a Hit Parader compilation. We got on an Iron Tyrants compilation. I don't know if you ever heard Iron Tyrants.
No.
It came out. Some company in California put it out. So so we did that. We did Hit Parader, and then we did the Green World thing. So in the meantime, our record did over 5,000 copies in the Philadelphia area, and the buyer for the records, who was that? I forget, but the guy who was listening booth.
Oh God,
yeah.
Anyway, he was really impressed, and Green World offered us a record deal, which is Green World actually did Great White. They did Motley Crue, like the first Motley Crue album, and they did a host of other bands in California. So we were like one of the New York bands. So we put it out, and with Green World, we did like 40,000 copies around the world. So it was around the world. So it was really good, and
these,
we actually,
even today that would be respectable, but in those days, it's amazing. This is grassroots rock and roll taking place here.
It was, yeah. big time.
I love it, Greg. Greg, you know, it's, and I want you to continue. I just want you to know this is cool because you and I, you know, we've just sat and talked as friends, you know, and we've never, you know, we've talked about gear. We talk about, and I've known Greg for many years now. We talk about regular musician shit, but we never talk about the elephant in the room. You know, this guy was a fucking rock star, and it's cool, man. And like I said, I am really happy to have you as a friend, and I meant that when I wrote that the other day.
I appreciate that.
It was cool. It's cool. It's been a cool ride, and so I just wanted you to know that I interrupted you to tell you how much I love you, buddy.
That's hardly fair, and I can't really complain.
You too, man. So anyway, Aerosmith's manager was interested in us. Turns out I had a friend of mine, a girlfriend or whatever, who was hanging out at Aerosmith. She says they were playing the Tease record, and Steven Tyler loved your record.
Oh my God!
I was like, "You're full of crap, right?" She says, "I'm telling you the truth." And then we get the Aerosmith's manager, Tim Collins. He contacts us. So Tim Collins was looking at us, checking us out, and he said, let's hear demos for the next record. So we started working on that. And in the meantime, Kevin Stover was asked to play for Cinderella, and Kevin turned that down because because Tease was actually more happening because Cinderella wasn't signed yet.
Yeah,
they had a development deal going. So Tommy Kiefer had asked Kevin if he wanted to play for Cinderella. So the Tim Collins thing fell through. He didn't like the demos we did. We wanted to keep writing songs. We wanted to keep touring. The Stover brothers, they wanted to sit home and write songs. They didn't want to do any touring anymore.
I can't understand that. Not even for a minute.
Well, that's how Dave, me, and Louis felt. We felt like we live for the stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was like,
oh, you especially, dude.
I love the stage. You know what I mean? So like, so that's kind of like where the party of the ways happened. You know what I mean? So then we got two new guys. We actually auditioned a lot of guys for a guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
We actually had Georgie Rumble from the Dead End Kids play with us. Actually had Kelly James of the Dead End Kids play with us. And we tried out a bunch of guys.
How did that feel? Now you had to be sitting there going, "This is fucked up." I have the Dead End Kids auditioning for me.
Kelly George were a huge influence on us.
I know.
We did played lots of gigs with them. We played at Shane. We used to play Dick Lee's with them. Yeah, you know what I mean? So like, I mean, one night Kelly was angry at me because we got paid more than they got paid. I said, dude, we got paid the same amount of money. You just had more expenses. So Kelly was like all over me about that. Anyway, but those guys were a huge influence. So I'm not, I love those guys. And I learned so much from them from just watching them.
Didn't we all?
So, yeah. So Georgie and Kelly, they both jam with us at different times, and as much as we love them, they wouldn't be a good fit. So we ended up with getting Rex, and we ended up getting Mike Natalini. And Mike used to play a Norristown band called Manus at the time.
I know about Manus after I moved to this area because I'm from Northeast Philly.
Okay.
That's how I found out about Manus when I finally moved into the Upper Merion area. And, people would talk about Manus, and that's how I heard about Manus. And then I finally met, what's his name? The guy who books all the gigs, Mr. The Praying Manus. No, the guy from Manus who was doing all the bookings a couple years ago at the Troc. Singer from Manus, Steve.
Yeah.
Couldn't think of his name. And so it's just funny how the whole circle comes around for me in my world to your world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or to say world.
It's crazy, man. So
the Northeast Philly. So you live near the Empire Rock Room?
I could walk there. It was a long mile, but I could walk there.
We used to love to play there. So we used to play there on Sundays. It was always Sundays.
I remember.
But we used to play there occasionally on Thursday nights. And we didn't like playing there on Thursday nights because it was a drinking crowd. It was a jaded crowd, and it wasn't a real big crowd. Whereas on Sundays, it was all ages. So it was like a crazy rock show. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm sure I was there one of those nights, but I have to say I probably don't remember at this point in my life.
Thursday nights was a drinking night, and all ages was, no drinking. But we were playing there on Thursday nights, and we missed out because Bon Jovi had saw Cinderella there on a Thursday night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, the Green World thing, we had a record out in Green World. It did 40,000 copies. Green World went bankrupt. So we actually lost about $20,000 or more.
Oh my God.
So it was a mess. And so what happened was the guy from Listening Booth, it sucks getting old because you forget shit.
Yeah.
So I forget his name, but he was the buyer for Listening Booth. He ended up starting his own record label, and he had White Line on his label. The hell is his name? Anyway, he offers a record deal, and it was a shit deal, but it was a record deal. So,
and that's how it worked. No, people don't understand that now. Back then, you were willing to do just about anything, and because I was in that, I was in that position at one point. And that's another story for another day.
Yeah, there's no place to upload your video or anything either.
So the deal that he gave us, I knew it was a shit deal, but I said I'm gonna take this to a lawyer. So I was looking. I'm one of those nerds that used to look at your album covers and read all the credits on the album cover, right? So I was a huge Joan Jett fan. So on the back of Joan Jett's album cover, it was a name of a lawyer in in New York, Paul Schindler. So I gave him a call and said, "Listen, I got a record here. I want you guys to check it out." So I take it up to New York. They look at the deal and they say, "This is a piece of shit." I go, "Yeah, that's what I thought too." He goes, "Listen, I can get you a better deal than this." So they and we end up showcasing for John Kalodner.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you remember.
Oh yeah.
Eddie Kramer, Tommy Mottola, Max, the guy from Atlantic. What the hell is his name? The guy that signed White Line, I think. I forget. Anyway, we had Atlantic, MCA, who else? A couple other labels. We were doing all this at this SIR Studios in New York.
That's Mecca to me. I've never been there. I've always wanted to go there.
Do you bow toward it every day around evening?
Listen, it's where Kiss used to rehearse.
I'm just saying, if it's Mecca, you have to do things. I'm just sorry.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So we did it. We did a showcase, and so we ended up going with Tommy Mottola, and we ended up getting a deal with Columbia Records. They called it a sweetheart deal at the time, and
it was sweet for them, and you were the heart.
No, it's just actually it was bullshit. But anyway, it's besides the point. All those records are bullshit for the first time because you know for a fact you don't make any money unless you have consecutive hit records.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's all contingent.
And the second record or the first record, they
advance you. Everything's in advance, right?
They give you this advance, yeah. So I think we had like a $250,000 advance. I think we got something like that. So So we decided to pick on Max Norman, and Max did Ozzy and Dirty Looks and a host of other bands. So when we got in the studio with Max, the thing, Max was cool and all that. English dude, English accent. He smoked a lot of pot though. So we were at Longview Farms up in Maryland or Massachusetts. It's actually near Boston. Longview Farms, Worcester. Was it Worcester, Massachusetts? It's where Aerosmith used to rehearse, and they recorded one of my favorite songs. What the fuck's it called? I forget the name of the song. It sucks getting old, huh?
It does.
We were at Longview Farms for like a month or so, just working on the record. And then Max started hearing things and saying that the studio was screwed up and wasn't this, wasn't that. Personally, I think he was smoking too much pot, but hey, that's my That's just my thought. Anyway, so a lot of drinking going on too. Anyway, we ended up leaving that studio and going down to Connecticut, to a studio in Connecticut to work on the record. And then we also went down to Philadelphia to where did Bon Jovi record?
I thought they recorded at the warehouse, right?
Or at the warehouse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we recorded at the warehouse, which was cool because I got to meet Miles Goodwin from April Wine.
Oh my God, dude.
Miles was working on a solo record at the time, and he was real nice. He just died like a year ago, I think.
I think everybody's dying. That's how I feel at this point, but that's we're at that age.
Yeah. So anyway, so we finally got the damn record done, and we were like, so we're gonna get somebody else to mix this record. And all of a sudden, our management says, "No, you're not. You're gonna let Max mix it." I go, "No, he's not. We want somebody else to mix it because Guns N' Roses just came out, and they had those two guys that mixed the Guns N' Roses record. That's who we wanted." But the record company was giving us a hard time. So I said, "Well, how about you just have us in the studio with you while you mix the record?" He goes, "No, that ain't happening." So he mixes a record, and it sounded like shit. We didn't like it. We hated it, and we were pissed off. We yelled and screaming about it. So what happens was they took Max and John Mervos went back into the studio and remixed a couple of the songs, and they got out of the studio. I still thought it sounded like shit, but it sounded like less shit than it sounded like the first time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So, so anyway, so what happened was record comes out, but before the record comes out, the month before the record comes out, Brittany Fox's record comes out.
Oh boy.
And we're on the same label as Brittany Fox, right? We're both on Columbia. So you know the deal. They take the albums and they throw it against the wall, and whoever sticks, they go with, and whoever falls down the wall, they sweep away. So Brittany came out like a month before, and they were on they managed to get on the countdown. So the record was taken off on them already.
Yeah.
And our record came out in September of '88, I think. And there wasn't a whole lot of support at all,
Yeah.
So I ended up that my publicist, she was awesome. Annette Manafo. She did like Warrant, Bertie Fox, a ton of other bands, Motorhead. So anyway, she was my publicist, and she says, "Listen, you know what you got to do? You got to do the work yourself." And I said, "Well, that's what I did before I signed with Columbia. We were doing all the work ourselves." She goes, "You got to do that again." She goes, "You got to start calling up radio stations." And so I literally was calling up radio stations every day. Every town we were in, I'd be calling up the radio station. Now, the problem here was that Columbia wasn't promoting us properly. So I'd have radio stations say, "What the fuck? You guys are in town and we didn't know about this?"
Oh my God, man. But you're not the only band this happened to from Columbia.
Well, yeah, I get that.
This is like their MO back in the day, right?
Well, you know what it is? Certain companies were good for certain types of bands, and for like a new band, Columbia wasn't really good for you. But if you were like a established band, Columbia tended to be a better label for you. But whatever.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Judas Priest. Thank you.
Things change and people change. So like, when your record first get ready to come out, you go around to all the different people in the company, and you push your record. You say, "Listen, here, I got my new record coming out. You got to like promote this thing." You know what I'm saying? Like, you're dealing with a huge company, right?
Yeah.
And they have all these different sections. You know what I mean? So you really got to like promote yourself to the company, right? So anyway, so we were touring, and I was literally calling up radio stations, say, "Listen, I'm Gregg Malack from from Roughhouse. Can you please check out the record?" And it actually worked. So I got like six, seven, or eight major radio stations picking up on the record, and that got us our video. So because of that, they said, "Okay, we'll give you a video." So we wanted the video in color, and they said, no, we're going to do it in black and white because the album cover is in black and white.
Oh my God.
So from every step of the way, we fought with Columbia.
And Greg,
so the guy,
just so people know, visually, you guys were all about color. That was you. That was like, it was all about the flamboyant colors. And if you need to know that, just go look these guys up. You'll find them on YouTube. There's got to be some old footage that they can see of you. These guys were visually dazzling. They were ahead of the curve. This is a travesty what I'm hearing. It is. Sorry, as you were.
Tommy Mottola sold it. He's the one who brought us on. Tommy Mottola. He's the guy that did Whole Notes. At the time, he did Taylor Dane. He was working with John Cougar Mellencamp. Anyway, he becomes president of CBS Records, which later becomes Sony Records. And he gives us this other guy named Randy for a manager. And Randy didn't do shit. So literally, I'd be calling Randy up like every day, and he wouldn't take my calls. End of the week, he'd give me a phone call like, dude, I've been calling you all week. Like, I'm trying to, like, you know what I mean? So the people that you kind of like trust with your career, like, yeah, because you had no other choice, they fuck you. So anyway, so one of the reasons we got the record deal, though, was because Tommy Kiefer had told my lawyer that these guys are really good. You should get them a deal. They're awesome. So I always say thanks to Tommy Kiefer, like he helped us out, just like Bon Jovi helped him out.
Yeah,
Tommy helped us out. You know what I mean?
Tommy's a good guy, man. I had the luck and happiness to play a show with him a long time ago. I also sat backstage at the Spectrum and annoyed the fuck out of him when he didn't know who I was, and he still doesn't know who the fuck I am. But I was bugging him about a guitar because I'm a geek and I want to know
his house and remind him.
No, that was in Cherry Hill and that was off limits. Everybody knew that.
We used to play with them all the time at the Galaxy.
That's
Cinderella.
awesome. So I was in the I was in the generation after you. So you were playing with those guys. I was in the Gypsy Rose crew era. You know, I was playing with Gypsy Rose and
play with them.
Yeah, we used to play with Gypsy Rose all the time at the Galaxy and at PJ's. That was, and then I don't remember who the fuck I played with at the Empire. I played at the Empire a bunch of times. Huh?
PJ Garter's?
PJ's Red Garter, man. We played there. I think I played that place more than any other place in my life.
Okay.
But Tommy would come in there. He was in there all the time. He's friends with Hoppy. Hoppy'd be doing sound, and I was good friends with Hoppy, and Tommy be sitting there, and of course at that point I'm flipping the fuck out like fucking Tommy Kiefer sitting here watching me play, and I'm going nuts. And he's not there for you, Paul. He's here for the other band, but that's fine. You can think whatever you want.
There was a hot chick behind you.
that was Terry.
Hey, so Galaxy had their own label,
I remember that. I remember when Bill was doing that.
Wolf Records.
Yep.
They call it Wolf Records because Bill Hegg had two big dogs. They're real adorable, so Bill Hegg lived above the Galaxy, and they had a recording studio up there, and Bob Leese had great sound. We did a demo. What's that?
I was going to tell you, so I'll let you finish. I'm sorry. I keep doing this to you.
That's okay. So Bob ran sound for the club, but he also ran the studio, and he did great demos. After I ended up leaving the band in 1990 or wherever that, and I did a band called Backseat Romeo, and I had Bob do the demos for that, and but by then though everything was grunge.
Yeah, the world changed.
Columbia A&R guys, and they said to me, you know what? Don't even put a record out because we're all going to Seattle. We don't know where Philadelphia is anymore, and your kind of music is the dinosaur.
Isn't that funny, man?
Which is funny because Nirvana, before they got signed, they were playing Sex Pistols, Led Zeppelin. They were playing classic rock shit. You know what I mean? But they got a style all their own, and I'm a huge Nirvana fan now. I love that shit. You know what I mean? So but back then though, it was a totally different world. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So you're happening, you're creating rock and roll music. 2 days later, it's grunge music, and you're like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, it was a complete regression in ability, songwriting, quality. Everything was a complete regression. In fact, it was. I described it as like, for a while, all the savants, all the A kids were getting all the gratitude and acknowledgement, and then all of a sudden, the kid who was getting the Fs, he became the hero of the school. And that was grunge as far as I was concerned, because it was such a different level of playing. It was the lowest common denominator in playing ability and all that stuff. And that's just my opinion.
It was like the kids that do the shitty poetry in high school that nobody wants to talk to. Now all of a sudden it's popular.
I disagree with you on that shit. I think the playing was good. I think the songwriting was good. I just
think the drumming was good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a different tone. I mean, though, it was that darker.
I think what happened for me, Greg, is I was on the cusp of it. You had already actually gotten to do it, and I was getting shopped to Atlantic at the time, and it all fell apart because they came back to us and asked us to go back and recut some tunes in a more grunge fashion, and I rejected it. And I was
playing our guy.
A guy from South Philly. I wish I could remember his name now. It was a guy from South Philly. He was heading in Atlantic, and he took all our stuff to Atlantic and was shopping us. Russ, if you're listening, could you?
Right?
What's that?
No, I was gonna say it wasn't Gary Gersh, right?
No. This was a good guy. Oh God, I wish I could remember his name.
Our guys used to move around a lot.
He was a nice guy. John Pateri was his name.
I didn't know that
out
name.
Of South Philly. Anyway, so whatever. I got all pissed off and I was like, that's it. I'm fucking done. I'm not doing this anymore. And fuck this. And
you didn't own any flannel?
I did, but I didn't wear it out.
You're wearing it now.
I'm wearing it now. I wear flannel all the time. And I cut my hair and, no, I joined 4-Star Rosie for about 2 months and then I hung it up.
You were a 4-Star Rosie?
Yeah, for about 2 months.
Oh, you were with my friend Harris.
Yeah. Harris and I were pretty friendly, man. It didn't work out.
Yeah.
Their singer had just left. It was a mop up event at that point. But we were practicing in Northeast Philly off Rising Sun Avenue. Yep, good times. Good times. There was more effort put in.
Thing.
Was that?
Getting back to the grunge thing. Nirvana had some really good songs there. I like a lot of their songs, but I mean, look at Soundgarden. Chris Cornell, man, what a singer, man! Talk about range. Oh my God, incredible singer.
And I'm not lumping in the rest of the bands with them. I'm talking about, the overall sound of that era. I love Soundgarden, and I love Stone Temple Pilots' first record. There's 3 songs on the Nirvana album that I really dig. I love the drumming on Nirvana. I think the drumming on it is spectacular. I'm sitting in front of a drum kit that is basically the same kit that he loved to play on. Like I bought an old Tama kit about 3 weeks ago because I love Tama, man. I'm not a drummer. I just have a kit because I jam with people, as you know, and I like to have a good drum kit in my house. And my kid took all his stuff because he's a big man now and he has a house and he has to have all his drums in his house. So I had no drums. But this isn't about me. This is about Greg tonight. Okay.
No, I'm just saying that I know when the grunge first came out, I hated it. I didn't understand it. Didn't get it at all. But as the years went by, I learned to appreciate it, and I really like it now.
Well,
do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
It makes complete sense because it was the rubber band reaction to everything that was. It went from because the look and feel of hard rock at that point had gotten so glitzy and glamorous that this was the absolute revulsion of that. And there was something appealing about that because you think back to Black Sabbath, which is really grunge was really getting back to that primordial beginnings of Black Sabbath sound, I feel like. And then layered upon that and a little bit of the Doors too, in my opinion, without John Densmore and all that stuff.
So, I love the Doors.
Me too. Jim Morrison was one of my heroes when I was growing up. Not in a like somebody I should look up to as an elder, but just as a songwriter.
Dying in a Tub is cool,
and
man.
Somebody who's so fucking brilliant, an incredible poet. So
I like all those documentaries. Like I like watching those old documentaries of the bands like Led Zeppelin, the Doors. Like Jamie, all that stuff. So,
well, you'll have to come over. We'll watch some documentaries together. It'll be fun.
yeah. Hey, did you see Kiss? Did you see the final Kiss tour?
I saw the tour probably in 2019, I think it was, before COVID hit, and then I literally had my phone on for the entire simulcast of the Madison Square Garden show. I sat on Facebook and gave color commentary through the whole thing.
Jesus Christ.
On the pay-per-view.
Okay,
so here's what they're doing wrong.
Paul Stanley, I'm a huge fan. He's one of my heroes. Paul was singing the backing tracks.
Absolutely, right? 100%. Okay. I feel that.
Because
at
one point you had told me that you didn't think he was. But I listened to his voice, and the poor guy, his voice.
It's shot.
You could tell his voice. Yeah.
I think at the time when you and I talked about that, I was 100% believing that I was right, and I think I may have been wrong. Because I took what he said at face value. And by the way, there's a guy on here named Gabe Ozzy Fritz, and he is putting up all these messages on Facebook, and he's desperately trying to say hi. So,
hello.
Hey, Ozzy's awesome, man.
He says you're awesome, Ozzy. You probably hear him.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's how it works.
He's a great guy. Ozzy's awesome. He's a great bass player.
I just wanted you to know that, man, because you can't see what he's typing. So, yeah, me and Kiss, man. And I'm not a big fan of the Tommy Thayer era as it is. I'm not. I like Tommy. Tommy's a cool guy. He's a fucking brilliant guitar player. And I understand the reasons Ace wasn't in the band all these years. But if you're not going to have Ace, you got to have Bruce Kulick. That's just how I feel. I don't think he would look good in Spaceman music, face paint, but I know the reason why. It's called marketing, and we have 4 faces, and it's on everything, and we can sell lunch pails, condoms, and coffins. So, okay,
lunch pails.
They sell. Yes,
they still sell those.
Yeah,
this was one of my heroes too. He's like major one of my heroes. But you know what? I read his book, and honestly, all he talked about was getting high and getting drunk and getting stoned.
Right.
And I got to be honest with you. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, is this his life? Like, it's about getting wasted. Like, I thought to myself, my God, dude, like
you had it all.
Yeah. And then I read Paul Stanley's book. That was cool.
Yeah. It was out of all the books from the band, Paul's, I feel, was the most real and honest and down to earth about it and professional. Yeah. I think Peter's was very honest. But it was he was after everybody in that book. What a shame. What a shame. But, I've met Bruce Kulick a number of times, and I'm sure in your endeavors, you've met him many times. Bruce is just one of the sweetest, most honest guys you'll ever meet, and the consummate musician, and just a great guy. Like, I mean, when I say great guy, I mean it when I talk about people. If I'm telling you somebody's a great guy, I mean that. Bruce is he's just a wonderful human being, man. And I wish him all the best. I have a feeling this isn't the last. I have a feeling there's going to be some kind of a revenge era, something with those guys in Vegas, but
it's very chic right now.
It would be cool.
I'm quite sure what they're going to do with the avatars, because they're going to do the same thing that ABBA did, but I'm not really sure what ABBA did though. You know what I mean? They're trying to follow in the footsteps of ABBA, doing the avatar. What did ABBA do? Does anybody even know?
They learned English. That's about it.
I heard that their Avatar show, which was much more advanced than what you saw from Kiss, was very entertaining and very good. And I could see that going over to a place like the Sphere in the Madison Square Garden Sphere in Vegas, which I was there a couple weeks ago.
It's Garden Sphere in Vegas.
That's what it was called.
So much wrong with that whole sentence. Yeah. But go on.
It's the same. The people who own it.
I get it. Just there's so many things.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
But, that in a venue like that, to see an Avatar type show would be very exciting. I mean, shit, I don't like the Dead, but I would like to go to see the Dead.
Oh, God, no.
In fucking Vegas. Because if the screen.
Like if they were lying there dead on the street?
No, that's different.
Well, that I'd go
That was my dog last week.
No, it wasn't.
You stepped right over it.
No, I didn't.
Okay. No, that was my dream. Okay.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, my nightmare.
You have some fucking weird dreams, man.
You don't know the half of it, Jim.
Paulie, he's got issues.
Usually it's Jim with the issues.
Yeah, I don't even dream. I just have nightmares.
And they're real.
I actually woke up. I actually had a nightmare about my mom last week. And I woke up terrified. Like I was hiding under the bed and she found me.
Oh.
Oh my God. I woke up panicking. I'm like, my God, my childhood sucked.
I'm sorry, Jim.
No, it was funny.
Do you want me to get the thing?
No,
Do
I'm
you want to
fine.
lay down? I got a
I'm
pillow.
fine. No.
See,
Now
you want a box of
now
tissues?
no, I don't want a creepy old man telling me to lie
All
down.
right.
Stop it. Jesus.
Greg's here to talk about his incredible musical career. So, Gregg, what got you into playing guitar?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Chicks.
I remember when I was a young kid, my mother offered to get me into the band, saxophone or whatever. I didn't want to hear it. I liked guitar. Guitar to me was cool looking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a sexy looking instrument, like a Stratocaster. But, when I was a little kid, my parents used to go for rides. They used to go for rides. They'd throw me in the backseat of the car and they'd put on the radio. I fucking hated the rides. I hated riding around my parents. But you know what? I got to listen to music, man. So I'm listening to Tommy James on the radio, and I'm listening to Build Me Up Buttercup, and I'm listening to all these great tunes on the radio. That got me into music, believe it or not.
You had cooler parents than I did. Jesus.
Yeah. And the fact that my grandfather was a drummer back in the 20s.
Oh.
He was playing a big band, My own brother was a drummer. So I had a lot of music coming at me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My brother had a magazine called Sound Magazine back when he's in middle school or high school. He used to get all the stuff off the record companies. Like he used to get stuff from Casablanca Records for Kiss.
Oh.
So my brother turned me on to Kiss, the first album. You know what I mean? Because he would get the radio promotion shit from the record companies because they were trying to promote their band. All he had was a school newspaper, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a local rag. It was called Sound Magazine. And he used to get all these free records and all that stuff. So it was really cool. So we got promotional photos of Angel, Kiss, all that stuff, but it was cool, but my brother would turn me on to a lot of stuff. So he was kind of like, he probably got me the rock and roll thing, so.
I think a lot of kids have those kind of stories, not exactly, of course, but some variation on the theme, right? So like when I was growing up, I had a buddy who was into Kiss, and his brother was 10 years older than us, and he had a Gibson SG, and he had a Silvertone amplifier with spring reverb. And I used to hear this guy, just jamming away in the basement bedroom that he lived in. And my grandfather was a guitar player in a big band back in the day. And when I was 5 years old, I noticed this guitar in the closet, and I'm in there just plunking on it, and I got in a lot of trouble for that. But that's how it all started for me. And then I wanted to be Kiss. I was like, I'm gonna have my own band, and we're gonna be called Kiss 2. I was 9 years old.
Kiss T-O-O or Kiss 2?
No, Roman numeral. It had to be the Roman numeral.
Very sexy. Yeah.
So I bought a lot of magazines and cut the pictures out and stuck them on the wall and listened to the records over and over. And I didn't need lessons. I was just going to go do it. That's what I remember when I was a kid.
Did you ever take guitar lessons?
I took lessons. Yeah. I started Settlement Music School for about a month, and the guy was teaching me Mel Bay and all that. And I said, listen, man, I don't want to learn this stuff. And he was like, well, how about, what do you want to learn, some songs? I said, yeah, I'll teach you Aura Lee or Leonard Skinner. Sweet Home Alabama was big at the time. I said, no, dude. I said, and there was no dude then. I said, no, I want to learn Kiss songs. I want to learn Kiss songs, and that's it. And he said, we're not going to do that until you're ready. And I quit. And I took lessons a couple years later with a guy named Bucky at Mike Bennett Music. And I was with that guy for about a year. And then I went and took lead theory for about 4 months with a guy named Dave Dutton at Jerry's Music in Northeast Philly. And then I quit. And then I just started listening to music and trying to play. And I would just go jam with people and see what I could do. And I'm still hacking away at it, 40 years later.
Yeah, I got lucky. In middle school, I actually joined the school stage band playing guitar. And that helped me immensely with making friends and getting into a kind of like a clique type of thing where you know what I mean? Because before that, I was always nerdy in school, and I was like wallpaper. So I didn't really talk to too many people. But when I got in the stage band, that helped me with my chops.
Yeah.
It also helped me social. Yeah, I mean, all of a sudden I had all these friends who were musicians. You know what I mean?
It,
So
it
that
makes
was
it makes a big difference. And the one thing I did take away from my theory teacher, my guitar teacher, the lead teacher, he said, jam with as many people as you can.
yeah.
So I did start to do that a bit, and started jamming with people and doing things, and
Well, that's what the kid does. Kat, my daughter, she learned, she started with a violin, then she went to the cello, taught herself, like, I don't even know how many bass, 6-string. I think she's got a trombone somewhere in the house. Somebody gave her.
Is that what that noise was?
No, that was
Oh.
me. That was my throat. Somebody gave her a sax. I mean, she just like can play anything now. And
now she's studying to be a recording engineer.
Now she's recording this band called Instinct sometime soon. So that's going to be fun.
Paul, you're doing some recording?
Yeah, we're going to go in. His daughter is studying recording engineering, and she's over there at Montgomery County Community College. They have a program, and I know David Ivory's involved with all that stuff. And buddy,
Matt Porter, who's on the show, and he has a question, actually.
Oh, Matt has a question.
Matt wanted to know who came up with the Tease rags look.
Yeah, that's a great question.
That's a good question. You know what? I'll be honest with you. I'm not even sure about that. I think it kind of developed. We used to, we were, I forget. I think we try to be like the other bands, only be more outrageous, I think. And that's kind of like how it kind of developed. I remember some band in Philly made fun of us saying we look like a bunch of sea squids or something like that. Like, but it kind of gave us our identity. Like we played in front of 10,000 people for YSP's a metal shop thing on South Street, or yeah, I mean that was like 1985 or something like that, 84.
Oh, that's so cool,
so,
man.
We were just trying to be different, trying to be a little more extreme. So we'd get these neon colored clothing and just literally shred it and make it, every night was a different outfit, because you're literally ripping the shit apart, and you know what I mean, and you're buying new shit, and it's stockings, and like back in the early 80s there, everything was neon, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so like
it was completely neon.
My daughter just took my neon, my fuchsia and white jacket and asked if she could have it. I'm like, well, I'm not going to wear it.
yeah, Paulie, check out. We were on Dance on Air, Channel 17.
I think I saw
85.
that. So, dude, about the time you were on there, I was on there because I was trying to impress a girl.
You were on there?
Well, not as a musician. I was on there as a sleazy hound boy trying to hook up with a chick.
No.
So I somehow managed to get 2 tickets to get on there so I could impress this girl, and they had the band that does You Drop the Bomb on Me. I think they were the band that day, so I got to meet them, and I hated every ounce of the music that was on there.
Did you like tell them how much they sucked and everything?
No, but there was a Michael Jackson impersonator, and I was making my dislike of Michael Jackson very loud. That's funny. Yeah, so I wasn't on there for good reasons.
We were on that show, and people looked at us like we were a bunch of freaks. I remember that. Like nobody knew anything about our music. They just I think we actually did like their Halloween show or something like that. Like,
that kind of makes Michael Nice. He's a piece of work.
His work, the word you were going for?
He was the producer. That was like right off City Line Avenue in Philadelphia, somewhere back behind Channel 6 and 10 and all that stuff. If memory serves me correctly. I was there when I was a kid also. I was on the Bozo Clown Show when I was like 5 years old, 6 years old.
Wow. Was that the cokehead Bozo, or was that the later?
It was
Bozo?
the Philly version. So the way they did it was they had cartoons, and then each market they had somebody dressed up like Bozo.
My sister used to hang out
and
with
I was like, I don't think that's the real Bozo, but and I was of course terrified.
He lived over in Gulf Mills.
Figures.
Yeah, my sister used to hang out with him. She's like, huge coke fiend.
Well, if you're going to be Bozo, you might as well be a coke fiend.
And every time I watch The Simpsons, I'm like, oh my God,
maybe that's what it's modeled after. Yeah. Oh my God. It's like a small world, but it's a shitty small world in my world.
The Philly Bozo is Krusty the Clown.
Yes. That's cool that you were in there. I remember when that happened, though. I remember kids talking about it in school because it was 84, 85, you were saying, right? I was in like 12th grade. I wasn't old enough to do anything. I was shaving though. That was cool.
Yeah, that was great. I loved it. Yeah,
I had an electric shaver in those days. Remember those?
Yeah, I still use one.
Yeah, that was good. That was exciting.
What were you using it for?
Shaving.
Sure.
Yeah.
That smile on your face makes me think you use it for something.
I think that was the era of Judas Priest Turbo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Turbo. Yeah, there was. Yeah.
I was a little conflicted. I was like, are we supposed to be playing keyboards and the guitars? I don't know what's happening. I wasn't sure because I had already started taking guitar lessons at that point. I was playing for a couple of years.
That's probably better. You can't really carry a keyboard around. Although I did for a while in the late 80s.
Remember the accordion? That was...
No, I didn't carry anything.
Oh, I thought that
I had a little Casio I used to take over to Sportsters.
Oh, yeah.
People were getting... The Waitrons used to get mad at me because I'd be playing a song.
Now, Sportsters. They had a Sportsters in Upper Merion.
Yeah, there was one right here.
Did they have the big block of onions?
Oh, yeah. It was disgusting.
Yeah, we used to get that.
Oh, that was foul.
Sportsters in Northeast Philly off of Grant and the Boulevard. You could go in there when I was in 12th grade and
you go in
they'd
ours,
serve you.
Yeah.
We get a big block onions and then we were like, anything to drink? A round of kamikazes?
Well, they only really are on
bring them out and you're sitting there going, holy shit, we just got kamikazes.
If you're 17, you're like, can I get a Manhattan?
They're looking at you like you're nuts.
Yeah.
How about a Miller Lite?
Can I get a glass of Galliano?
Yeah.
So you didn't like the Judas Priest, the Turbo album, the Turbo Lover? You didn't like that?
At the time it came out, I loved it, to be honest with you. But in retrospect, I think it's a great record. I would love to have heard them re-record it with all the
it was definitely different
keyboards in it or all the keytars or whatever. Yeah. And I feel like what's that?
I think they're trying to be different. They're trying to take it one step up.
They did, but it didn't work, and it kind of turned some fans off. And I feel like when they went and did Ram It Down, it was a lot of the songs that were written for Turbo Lover. It showed you how heavy that album actually could have been. But we digress. But I love Turbo. I still play it. I play it. I just was a little confused as I got older and started to think about it too much. The problem was I was thinking, yeah.
What do you think of KK Downing's KK's Priest? What do you think of that?
I have the first record, and I give it a big, fat okay, because I'm going to compare it to Priest at current, because Glenn's still writing the music. He may not be playing everything, but he's writing it, and Richie Faulkner is playing on it, which is the guitar that's right behind us. I got a Richie Faulkner guitar in here, so I'm a little biased. I love Richie. He's an amazing guitar player, and
we really need to get a camera.
KK. I wish they would have brought him back to fill in the other side of the stage and not used that producer guy, Andy Sneap. I think that would have been cool. I think the writing would have gone up another level because I think the writing right now in Priest is very good. I think Firepower was an exceptional album, and it's a really high watermark to match for KK's Priest. And I like Ripper. I loved him on Demolition and all that stuff. But Rob is at a really good level right now, especially considering he's 70 or 71 years old.
Yeah, he's terrifyingly good
unbelievable
at his age.
So
that's amazing.
I want to go see them. They're coming April 21st to Reading. And so far I have nobody to go with me. So if there's anybody out there.
Where are they playing in Reading? Reverb or the arena?
At the arena, Sovereign Arena, I think it's called, or whatever it's called. Santander, which is spelled strangely, and I don't understand. But yeah, I want to go there. So yeah. But Ripper, obviously that whole movie Rockstar was based on him and Ripper and Rob, and it's such a cool stuff, man. Priest is like one of my favorite bands in the whole world. I mean, I know everybody knows me for Kiss, but Priest is like, that's a whole nother thing.
Well,
Priest
the neighborhood does, because you dress like him once a year.
Who?
You.
Who?
Sometimes.
Who do I dress like?
You dress like your version of somebody, like if you're Paul Adler played for Kiss.
Oh yes. I thought you were
under the neighborhood.
Priest. Yes, no. With a wireless mic.
We saw Priest at the Tower Theater with Iron Maiden opening up for them.
See, I was just a little too young, and you now have told me that you were there. And Mark, who plays in Old School, was there, and you guys all saw this, and I was like fucking assholes. Because that's the tour I wanted to see. And that was the same time that Mob Rules was coming around, and I missed that because I wasn't allowed to go. But meanwhile, my parents are like, "Oh, you want to go to the Rolling Stones? Have a good time at JFK. Don't worry, you'll be fine." Yeah. I was
bikers will take
smoking
care of you.
everything that passed by me. I drank everything that went past me.
What tour was that?
For the Stones, it was probably Tattoo You.
Okay, because I saw Steel Wheels tour. They opened up in Philly, and it was really cool because the first song, the power went out.
Oh, wow.
And to me, that's cool because this is a world-class band, and they're having problems. So it's cool because Mick Jagger just made a beeline right off the stage. Everybody just left the stage.
Wow.
It was almost like it was rehearsed.
Sounds like an old school show.
Kind of sounded like this show.
It is. It's like our podcast. I was going to run out when that happened, Greg. I was going to run out in the beginning of the night.
We just staged that to be interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever have that happen, Greg, when you're up playing, like you're playing a gig and shit just goes completely fucking sideways?
Yeah, I actually had a pickup die on me in the middle of the show, like the guitar pickup. We just yeah. And I think it was from just playing like slide with a beer bottle, and the liquid got into the pickup. I think it short circuited. But
oh man,
yeah, it was terrible. But shit like that happens.
I remember one time you were playing and there was this guitar you were spinning.
Oh yeah, don't remind me, man.
Dude, I was so heartbroken when that happened. I think my wife was trying to console me because I think I was just as upset as you were.
You want to elaborate?
Oh, okay. So Greg was, and he doesn't want to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it. Greg was playing at Harrah's, and Greg was gracious enough to offer Old School the opening slot that night. And one of the guys in the band was like, "Oh, I'm not playing." And I was like, "Okay."
Oh, I know exactly. Who
I should have got a backup bass player that night, but I didn't. I was too dumb.
Well, now I definitely know who that was.
Anyway, so we're playing at Harrah's, and he's playing at Harrah's. I wasn't playing. I was there having a great time. I had one of the best times of my life that night. And Greg had his beautiful BC Rich, his pink BC Rich, which was
Mockingbird.
It was a Mockingbird. It was neck through. It was era correct. And when I say era, it was a 79?
79 or 80, something like that.
Oh, God. It looked to me like an 83, 84, but what do I know? It wasn't mine. And Greg was at this point, and I don't know if you did this in the old days, but Greg was spinning his guitar by the strap off his arm. And
that was my Les Paul, my ESP Les Paul.
I thought it was the BC Rich that went flying.
Well, no, the BC Rich did go flying, but it was the ESP Les Paul that I would swing around my head, over top my head. But that's like my a move I came up with last couple of years, where I just like yeehaw and like swing the guitar over my head. Shit. So, but now
I'll let you tell the story.
Rich, we played tonight, and I spun it on that, and that's when the guitar just went backwards into the back wall. I
mean, you could hear it over the amplifiers. That's how hard it hit the wall. It was.
Yeah, it broke. Yeah,
it was terrifying.
3 pieces.
I'm telling you, man. I think I started to cry. I love guitars as much as I love animals. I mean, I don't know. I'm like a cat lady when it comes to guitars. That broke my heart.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah. Sorry.
I had Jack work on that in Conshohocken. What's his name?
Jack Romano.
Was it?
Jack Romano. And I think I told you that night you should go see Jack. And apparently it didn't work out so good.
Yeah, so I saw him in Conshohocken, but the guitar's not the same. You know what I mean? Like,
how can it be? Right?
Yeah. I had it refinished. I shouldn't have had it refinished. I could kick myself for that, but whatever. What's done is done.
We'll find you one, dude. We'll find you one. We'll find another one out there. They're out there.
Find one, pal. Guitars, man. A new Gibson reissue classic, whatever, like $6,000.
I know, because I bought one last year like an idiot.
God, how do you, that's crazy.
I put it on a credit card. That's how you do that.
And he's still married.
I was like, don't worry. I put it on the credit card. But So but I did get a BC Rich last year. I got a BC Rich Eagle, and a buddy of mine was in some antique store, and he posted a picture of this BC Rich Eagle, and he says, "Oh, you never know the funny things you're going to find in an antique shop." And I'm like, I wrote him immediately. I'm like, "Is that a real American BC Rich?" He goes, "Yeah," because I saw the price tag they had on it. It was $1,700. And I said, "Dude, is that a real American?" He goes, "I don't know." So I called that antique shop that Monday morning. I said, "Do you still have that guitar?" "Yeah." I said, "I will be there. What time do you close?" 5:30. I said, "I'll be there before you close today." I had to work that day. As soon as I got done work, I got in my car and I floored it. It was somewhere out in Jersey across from what is it, Peddler's Village or whatever that area is over there. And I wasn't sure if it was an American. So I had Mark Burkert on the phone, and we're looking up the serial number, and we found it, and we did all this stuff, and it's fucking American. I'm on the phone with him, and I'm just like, I get off the phone. I said, "Listen,
Give me $10 for
I
it.
can't really verify that this is an American guitar. Can you drop the price?" And they're like, "Well, we have to talk to the owner." I said, "You tell them $1,500 and I'll take this guitar." Got out the old credit card, waiting, sweating. I am sweating like I've never sweat before. He sold it to me, and it's hanging right here. And these things are going for like $6,000 now, man. It's a 2002 or something. I don't know, but I'll show it to you. Hold on.
Cool. Hey, Paul, how many guitars you got now?
Wait, he can't hear you. I was wondering why. That's odd that just came out.
That's right.
It wasn't.
That's
there
real
last
nice.
time.
Hey, how many guitars you got now?
Here, get on there. Give me that.
Oh my! Oh God!
Jesus!
I'm
How many
afraid.
guitars you got now?
I'm afraid to say on the air. I think there's like 40, something like that. But there's a lot of junkers in here that I built out of parts, so it's not a thing.
Yeah, I was at 20 and I started selling them. It's too many guitars. Hey, tell me something. The Gibson that you bought, the reissue you paid $6,000 for, or whatever.
Was it worth? It's an Axis. It's one of those Neil Sean Les Pauls with the Floyd Rose on it.
Is it worth it?
It's pretty fucking good. I'll tell you what, dude. I got it for 42 used.
Okay. Is it worth 42?
I don't think anything's worth 42, to be honest with you, if you want to know the truth. But, I still think I'm still thinking $1,000 is a lot for a guitar, and it makes me upset. So, but I'll tell you what, man, we'll talk off air. You come down. I'll let you play a couple of these quote unquote boutique guitars, and then some of my original ones from the 70s and stuff like that. And you'll make your own assessment, because I don't know shit.
You know where I like to go? I like to see Rob Martin over at D-Town Guitars.
He's the man, dude. My buddy just bought a purple custom shop from him. He didn't tell me what he paid for it. It is absolutely beautiful. I only saw pictures so far. Hopefully we'll get together sometime soon. His name's Mike Bonner. He's a killer guitar collector.
I mean, can you take a guitar like that out to a club to play?
Okay, so I take the black Les Paul custom Axis I have to shows now. Because I was like, you only live once, and Toby Keith, man, no tomorrow's promised. So, Gasoline. Really, Pete Madison just said Gasoline. I play with those bastards all the time. That's Rob's band.
Pete, hey Pete.
Greg says, "Hey Pete." Oh, he heard you. I'm repeating it like he can. I know.
Yeah.
I keep thinking it's Braille. I'm sorry.
He's awesome, man.
But I ended up buying another one that I will not take out. There's something called the Mod Shop from Gibson, and they're one-off guitars. I have an Axis that's painted in gray. It's a one-off, and they discount them because they're experimental guitars. So that one never leaves the fucking house. I probably have 5 to 10 guitars that don't leave the house. Like I have an Ace Frehley Epiphone that doesn't leave. I have a Gene Simmons Axe bass that doesn't leave the house. But not that I'm going to take an Axe bass out. What am I going to do with it?
Cleave someone in twain.
Play Big Bottom from Spinal Tap? I don't know. What am I going to do? But there's a bunch in here that they don't leave the studio. And then the ones I take out and beat the fuck out of, which are usually like my Mexican Floyd Rose Strats and Well,
you also don't want to go to the toilet and come back and see somebody from the crowd sitting there strumming it either.
Worse than that, because I have a lot of friends who've had this happen, that you come back and your shit's fucking
it's
gone.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens. My buddy Dom DeSpaldo had like a 75p bass at a gig, and somebody just walked out with it. I mean, it happens. It's kind of crazy because musicians know how deep the cut is. Huh?
Why he was on break?
I never got the full story, but yeah, I think he was on break. And then he lost another old P bass in a house fire or an apartment fire. It's just, you know, for a musician to take from a musician is just like, that's like being a horse thief in the old West. You know what I mean?
So we can hang these guys.
They should hang.
Let's
them,
do
man.
it.
But yeah. So there's certain guitars I bought as like, you know, like an investment, like like a 401k thing, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I take gig money and that's what I spend my gig money on, you know?
Wait, Mr. Adler, your CT bill is here. Take this, Les Paul.
Yeah. We can't take that, Adler.
Will you pumice my bunions?
You're using pedal boards now.
I use pedal boards with a Mesa, and I'm in the middle of like a project. I've been building a redundant pedal board so that if my pedal board goes down, I have another pedal board that I can take on stage without thinking another thing. So I've been building this SKB board with a bad horsey, and I'm staring down it. It's underneath the table here.
So you're still using the amps, though?
Yeah, man. I can't do that. I can't. It doesn't. The Kemper.
He played Steel Panther, the TLA in Philadelphia. The guy uses a pedal board.
I know.
They have no backline,
and he has got killer tone with that thing. It's dialed in.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
I think he uses an atomic pedal.
Oh yeah, and now he has a new pedal called the Pussy Melter. Did you know that? For real.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
You got to get one of those.
he is an amazing guitar player, dude. I go see Steel Panther all the time. That's out of tune.
Yes,
Satchel, and his real name is Russ. And he wears he wears a wig.
Other guys wear wigs, except for the singer.
Right. And he sang in LA Guns. Oh golly.
We did that for your Halloween day.
Yes. It was just one record.
Really? Did I know that?
Yeah, check it out. Or maybe he did one tour with them. I don't know. Maybe he didn't do a record. I don't know. I'm a fucking liar. What the fuck do I know? But he was in LA Guns.
There you go.
Or was it the other Guns? I don't know. The LA. I think he was in LA Guns. I don't know.
You're talking about Rock Guns, right?
What's that?
Steve Riley's Guns, right? Is you talking about Steve Riley's LA Guns?
No, I think he was in LA Guns. I don't know. But
you open for those guys? Couldn't you have asked?
I did open for them, but I fell asleep when they were on.
Oh my God.
It was a long day. We opened for LA Guns like in 2017. We played with them at some place. And we Old School went on at like, I don't know, 2:30 in the afternoon, and LA Guns went on at like 11:30. And by that point I was like, I've been up since 7 a.m. traveling to fucking Baltimore. I'm fucking toasted, man.
Yeah, they booted me out. I was home by then.
Oh my God, that was terrible.
Yeah.
And Ted Poley played that show too. I fell asleep during him, and I know he looked over and saw me sleeping. Fucking A, man. Always a bride.
What a dick.
Made, never a bride. Fucking.
Well, you have to be able to stay up past 11.
Yeah, Greg, you'll have to come down, dude, and we can do a guitar comparison thing, like, because honestly, I have a '78 Les Paul, and that is the best tone guitar I have in all of my guitars and all the guitars I've played on over the years. It has the best sound of anything I own. And then for my Strats, I have a 91 Floyd Rose Strat that I've modded out the yin yang, and that nothing beats that. I love it. It's got a certain feel and sound to it, but you know, that's Duncan distortions on everything.
You don't use EMGs?
I have EMGs on my Richie Faulkner Flying V, which I used to take out. But they're going for like stupid amounts of money now. So she can't leave anymore either. So she has to stay here. And, you know, I got guards outside, and, you know, I have an evil dog and a watch mother.
I'm sure the kid's been down here and she's been drooling over it. She
never said anything. She's
come down and try. She's going to walk out with it one day.
I got a really cool vintage Marshall from the 90s. That's vintage now. Did you know that the 90s are vintage now, Greg?
That's like I said. My dad's like, oh, I have a classic Corvette.
Yeah.
And I was so excited. I'm thinking he's got like a 60s, like, split window, like a Mako. I got into 94 ugly ass green piece of shit Corvette. I was so pissed off.
I like them, dude.
That was more than 20 years, right?
Yeah. 20, 25 years, something like that. I don't know. This car was fugly.
I liked them. I know the green you're talking about. It's like a really dark green.
Really dark emerald turd
I love
green.
that.
Ugh.
Love that. There's a little hint of gold underneath that green.
I don't know. I didn't bother to look. Hideous friggin' car.
We'll talk, Greg, and you'll come down. And we'll jam a little bit again.
Oh yeah, love to. We're redoing the Tease, the color Tease record from Green World, the Tease record. That's going to be out on 20th Century Records in the future, I think. And
you waited till now to sell this. You should have said that in the beginning. Well, you see, we could have.
Well, he's trying, and then you're interrupting him,
I
so you're
know.
making it worse.
Oh,
it's
Jesus,
all right. I couldn't talk to you earlier because you were just like mouthing to me.
We were
also,
doing that for the School of the Deaf that is now our sponsor, and
and we're re-recording some of the Roughhouse songs because the mix is so bad on the original album that we said, let's re-record some of these songs and mix them our way. So,
dude, when
we're doing that.
When that comes out, I want to. Well, I don't know. We can play it, but I want you to come down.
Yeah, we'll probably be putting out record of demos, and we'll probably be putting out some new shit too. So
yeah, we can play a demo.
Demos we can get away with.
You get older, but you still keep doing it.
You have to.
Like the blues, they do it till they die.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like one of my favorite bands, Kicks, they retired. What the fuck is that all about? Like, why do you retire? I know your drummer had a heart attack. Bring in another drummer. Steve Whiteman is fucking one of the greatest frontmen around. Why do you fucking retire?
I agree.
And then have an auction to sell all your shit off. You know what I'm saying? Like, it bummed me out,
Yeah.
That's like marooning yourself on an island and burning the ship.
So Matt Porter has a really good question for you. And he says, Greg, do you have any favorite items from the Tease days?
Favorite items?
Like, I guess, like, I don't know. Like
underwear.
Did you guys make a casket and sell action figures?
I wish I would have been more of a historian and try and like save, stuff and catalog and shit like that. But I'm not. I'm just like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? And try and keep the business going and keep stuff going. You know what I mean? So like, I wish I could have like saved more shit, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
I do get that. I mean, somebody's got to keep the thing rolling, and it's a full-time job.
G-strings. You know what I mean? We sold girls G-strings. We sold girls tight shirt, T-shirts, and
it would be underwear based.
Yeah, shit. You know what I mean? So like,
I like it. Somebody's got to have that shit somewhere without stains.
Well, that's going to be the hard part.
So I'm putting it out there. If somebody's got the G-string unused,
mint in box.
You know what? I don't care if it's used, but just without the stain. You can come down here. We'll put it on Facebook. And
I think if you go to Japan and check out,
Greg might want to buy it off you. I don't know. Maybe he would take it for free. I don't know.
Yeah, I think there'd be.
I have shit all the time on eBay for sale. Like, it's not my shit. It's somebody who's either bootlegging us or one of my guitar picks or some shit's on eBay. You know what I'm
but this
saying?
might be literal shit.
Oh no,
the albums
underwear
are on eBay too.
So Matt, I'm going to say that the answer to that question is a hard no. Apparently, but he did have the pink Mockingbird.
Yeah. Hey Matt, tell me I said hi, man. I miss Matt.
He just heard
Matt's
you. I'm going to pantomime him.
There you go.
He heard you now. And the School of Deaf is like, did he just tell us to die?
Well, the School of the Deaf turned into an adult bookstore and then it got torn down. So we really don't have a sponsor anymore.
It was over on 202.
Yes.
It's at Chili's now.
My mom got caught going into that place and a trucker beeped at her and she was humiliated. I'm like, that's what's humiliating?
I don't understand your family, dude.
I don't either.
Weren't they on America's Most Needed?
Depraved freaks? Yeah, probably.
God.
I'm not making excuses for him.
It's fine.
Like I said, I'm just so happy to be adopted.
Well, Do you guys have any shows coming up, Greg?
Roughhouse?
Yeah, because I know we played with you last year. Old School played, and Instinct played with you too. I think both bands did.
Old School, Instinct, yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, we don't have anything coming up right now.
Okay, so I need some shows for Instinct. So if you could put one together, I'd greatly appreciate it.
It's funny you should say that because I've had other people say the same thing to me. Like, we need shows. We're looking for shows. So there's a reason why we go out and do cover band shit because there's shows out there.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying?
I know, and
I'm playing this Saturday night. You know what I mean? Like, you know why? Because I'm tying covers. Like,
and Greg, if you do set up a show, can you do the sound? Because
I'll be the Red Stallion this Saturday night.
I got to talk to you about that, dude, because I used to play there doing originals. Is that going well? Because I know that's a cool place. I know they redid it.
They redid it. There's a different person taking care of it. It's much better than it used to be. It's really cool.
I might need to get the name off you who's doing it so I can book some shows. I like that room, man. And I'm not talking for Instinct, for Old School, because the cover band thing. I don't want anybody to think anything weird. Like I love Old School, and it is my life as well as Instinct. But I'd much rather be playing originals than covers. It's just not the same thing for those that know.
But Paulie, don't you feel like the original thing is totally different than it was back when it was the 80s? It's much harder now, don't you think?
It's almost impossible. My kids' band, who they have some pretty good stuff going on, but they actually play a lot of house parties, and there's like hundreds of kids there, and but it's a whole different animal. Like there was an aura when you went into a rock bar in the 80s, even in Philadelphia, New York. I don't care where the fuck you were, but you would walk into that bar, man, and there was an energy, and it was electric, and there were hundreds and hundreds of people there, and it was the single greatest feeling in my entire life. Like playing the Galaxy was, I loved playing the Empire. The Empire was Mecca. That was why I started playing, was to get into the Empire. But playing the Galaxy,
a hell of a lot of
that was hallowed ground to me. That was holy ground, and I played there a bunch of times. And
keep in mind, that's a perception of how old were you when you were doing that?
I was probably 20, so that had to be 1987, 88 in that area.
Okay, so you're 20 years old. You had lots of friends back then, right?
Yeah.
So doing the original thing now is a totally different animal, and you're older.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
It is.
So it's a harder sell. Plus, the industry is different. Nobody makes records or CDs anymore, right? It's all streaming.
The whole business dynamic has changed, and like you said, we're on the other side of 50, and we're looking at the end zone now, and our friends are going, Saturday night you're going to be out. What time do you start? 8:30. Yeah. Listen, we go to bed at 10. We're going to watch a movie. That's like pushing it.
That's like all of our neighbors. Yeah.
I'm walking at 3:00 in the morning, and my cats are looking at me like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Where were you?"
The good thing is the one guy lives across the street from the both of us is probably awake, and he's just like,
yeah, he's always out there, but that's a whole nother story. He's cuckoo.
Yeah. Well,
it's a different animal, and there's no real business the way we knew it. It was all about being out there and doing it in those days. Matt's saying we need a cell block reunion show. He said, get Roughhouse, Instinct, Chainsaw Jane, Outlaw Pandas, and Christine. I like it. I would go see that. We could probably get like at least 10 couples off the sofa that night. Sofa, not sopa.
Sopa. You want to get together?
What's that?
Did you say Christine?
Christine.
Phil won't do that.
Uh-oh.
I don't think Phil Maltese was the lead singer. I don't think Phil would do it.
Uh-oh. Well, I'll leave that to Matt to figure out. I don't know. And where would we do that at? That's the other thing, like.
Matt, just as long as we get paid, okay? Because I've done reunion shows where I didn't get paid.
Oh, hell yeah.
Fucker.
I think the last two cell block reunions I did,
we could do it for the School of the Blind. They don't exist technically, so.
There's a reason why I didn't do the last Bonnie's reunion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think Hoppy got paid though. And you know what? He didn't have to pay for a hotel. He stayed here.
Just have to find out who gets paid and roll them in the parking lot.
Down in South Carolina, doesn't he, or something?
Yeah, he does. Well, he's retiring now for real. But he was doing a whole thing down there with music. It was pretty cool. I should have gone down there when that was all going on. I feel bad about that, but I didn't have as much vacation then as I do now. And now I don't have any money.
Now you have regrets. So that's something.
Yeah. I maxed all my credit cards out buying guitars I can't afford.
Well, we'd like to sell this to you, Mr. Adler, but we see your credit rating's a 5.
Yeah. Listen, we need something a little higher than 5, Mr. Adler. Well, Greg, this has been very, very good. And I tell you what, you could have done the show all by yourself. I mean,
yeah, probably would have done it better if people would have heard him.
Yeah. If we had you in here, my God, what would have happened?
Hey, is Tim in a band?
Tim?
Yeah.
Tim who?
Your partner. Who's your
Oh,
partner?
me? Jim?
Oh,
no,
Jim.
I'm not.
Jim. I'm sorry, Jim. Are you in a band?
No.
Okay, I figured he was in a band too. That's why. I'm sorry.
No, I used to diddle back in the day, but I don't do anything well.
You did diddle,
I still diddle, but
he played a lot of hockey. Do you know who?
Okay.
Do you know who he played hockey with on an amateur hockey team? This will crack you up.
Oh God,
because you know him, Eric J.
Oh, Eric, really?
Yeah. What a douche.
Oh, but now listen, we can't go there.
I did.
I've
met him.
Harris, Eric, and I did demos. Did you know that?
I remember him telling me you walked in and used a pig nose amp, and he thought it was the greatest thing in the world.
We did two or three demos at Pete's studio.
That's awesome, man.
Wow.
Me, Eric, and Harris. Yeah.
I must have
like to
been
hear
contentious as hell.
Sometimes it's not always like that.
God,
it's not always like that. Jim.
Never seen it that way.
Well, there's always two stories.
It's nothing.
Or two sides to the story. Greg.
Nothing like a scrawny looking girl guy telling you how to.
You guys
have to be tougher.
Okay, I shouldn't have brought it up. All right. Their relationship didn't end well. Anyway,
well, no, it wasn't that. I mean, he'll yell at you that you're doing it wrong. Shush, my turn.
Oh boy,
he'll yell at you you're doing it wrong, and then like fall down and break half his face and embarrass himself. And it's like, I'm not doing it that way, dude. So yeah.
Well, he was very gracious to Greg, and he was very accommodating. Would be the right word, I think. Not having been there before, what he told me about it, he really enjoyed that. So that's my take.
Yeah, I always forget that he was in old school, the very beginning.
The very beginning when we were called Stumpy Jones.
Yeah,
that was the name.
How long was that?
That was 14. Well, the band started 15 or 16 years ago, so that was 14 or 15 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. Who knows? This could be the last year. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
A lot of things in the world happening out there right now.
Yeah. That guy out front's probably smoking a cigarette.
He's probably pacing right
down
now.
His driveway,
Yep,
slamming things around.
Yeah. He might attack later.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey man, just remember, live it up. Because you never know if you're going to wake up tomorrow morning. You get what I'm saying?
Dude, 150%.
Yeah.
Thank God for credit cards. Well, everybody, we've been here with the amazing Gregg Malack, and we're going to have him in the studio because when his new record comes out, he's putting some new stuff together. He just talked about it 2 seconds ago. Were you paying attention?
Maybe they couldn't hear.
We're going to get him. Yeah, they probably couldn't because of the pantomime. We're going to get him in here. He's going to come in, and maybe if he comes down and we jam a little bit, we'll do some live casting off on my channel.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
we definitely have to have him come in so you can see the shit setup we have and go, holy hell, you guys actually got that to work.
We'll see if he came in and we did that, we could actually set the room up differently with stools and microphones and stands and amps turned on and like make it like a real
serving wenches.
Oh, I would like that. Who could we get to do this?
I don't know. I'll put an ad out for wenches. I don't know.
Okay.
Wench
And,
RS, I don't know.
Maybe we get like an engineer to come in. Not the choo-choo guy.
We get Kaylin to try to figure it out.
That's what we should do. But her show comes on at 9:00 on Monco Radio.
Yeah, but I think the last couple of days, because of school, she's been, last couple of weeks, she's been recording it ahead of time.
Oh, well, now we've got a solution to the whole. Greg,
she was upset
you're locked
about
in
that.
now. You're locked
Hey,
in.
Paulie, you ever been at the Kiss Room?
Say again?
The Kiss Room. Ever been on that?
I was on it, yes. And Matt just asked another question. He said, when I drop, don't call the doctor. Okay. All right.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, please.
Okay. When I drop,
Get me on the kiss room.
Matt, he wants to be on the kiss room with you, dude.
so Matt wrote, when I drop, don't call the doctor. Put on my tombstone, lived and died a rocker. I wanted it was rock and roll.
That's one of my words.
Yes.
We had a
I
feeling.
had to read it deadpan because, I didn't want to
So
give
here's the deal. I want to go on when you go on. I'll take a vacation day and we'll go on. He doesn't like it's the first Friday of every month or something like that. I try to listen because I'm usually in the office now because they cancel my remote work thing.
I'll try to get the girl to record you guys on the same Friday, and
I'll come in there and you
guys roll over. To
I
the
can just
studio.
stand there and act like a fanboy next to Greg.
Yeah, studio's
Yeah,
just
Kiss is like
diagonally
my
across the room.
all-time favorite bands, man. I know it's one of your one of your all-time favorite bands too. So like,
Yep, I think that's what got a lot of us into doing what we do. But Matt says it's on this Friday at 3 p.m. Now I can't take off this Friday because I actually have a gig at 7:00 in the evening. I have to be there at 5 to set up. At
where are you at?
Free Will Brewing in
We're the brewery in Percy.
yeah.
Cool.
So a little 3-hour tour. So Matt just said we just have to tell him when we're coming. So maybe you and I can talk about it and look at a calendar. And I know you're a busy guy. I'm a busy guy, but maybe we can figure something out and get down there and hang out with Matt.
Okay.
And Larry will have to come along too because everywhere I go, Larry goes. So sorry, Matt, just the way it is.
He does.
Well,
I never see him with you.
not anymore. But when it comes to Kiss stuff,
Gotcha.
you see, you'll figure it out.
I was taking you literally, but I forgot that's a terrible thing to do.
Uncle Larry. This has been great, man.
Yeah, it's been fun.
This was like the fastest show we've ever had.
Yeah, once we got it. Well, that's because 15 minutes of it was us going.
Even our guests couldn't hear us.
I wasn't sure I could hear you.
I couldn't hear me.
Yeah. That was terrible.
Well, listen, folks.
You've been listening to the P Word on the American Moron Entertainment Network.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I'm honored that you called me up, dude. I really appreciate it.
I am
It's
honored.
always a pleasure when I talk, man. I really enjoy it.
No,
I am
thank you,
honored
man.
that you did our show. I'm sorry I never talked to you about this before. It hit me when we were chatting last week. I'm like, fuck, man, I gotta have Greg on.
I mean, it was nice. We finally, you bring a little credibility to the show, and then we fuck up the first 15 minutes of not being able to be
It's like
heard.
when we had the guy from Prince on.
Oh God.
We had like a bona fide. Oh, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
We only screw up when it's really important. When we just come down here, we're both in shitty moods and have nothing to say. It's
everything
perfect.
works perfectly. Yeah.
People just hear us going, what do you want to talk about? Fuck you. Whatever, man. I don't care.
That only happened like 12 times.
Yeah. Like all of 2023.
I was a little bitter.
A little bit.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I took notes now.
Oh, okay. So now you know how to make it better.
Shit, I was like, okay, we'll talk about Florida men.
God, I didn't even drink tonight. Jeez. Okay.
What's that?
That was medicinal.
Okay.
Yeah, it's different.
Not a drink, just an empty glass.
Just nothing strong.
Right. What?
We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
I'll talk about everything off the air. Well, thank you, everybody. And especially thank you to Greg and his
man.
lovely wife for all of her comments through the whole thing. It was really cool. And Matt Porter, my God.
Billy's going
Billy
to
Noble.
Billy's life has been made
I'm
because
gonna
now
name
he's going to
everybody.
call me Tim from now on.
Michael Drelling. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Let's see.
I'm Mikey. Yeah.
From Ed and Bree, and Pat was here for a little bit.
Gabe and Kerry. And you know Pat Shoemaker. He's usually on the show with us.
He's a practice tonight. He just jumped in for a minute. He couldn't talk.
He's too busy dealing with Richie Salamone and all that stuff. Let's see what
Sick
else.
Vic.
That's-
Richie, man.
Yeah. My old drummer. Let's see who else was in there. Well, that's your wife. Pete Madison. Scrolling through.
My God, it's like, you watching
These
a
are the
movie
people that
backwards.
yeah, I know. These people were commenting.
Yeah.
I think Frankie Schaefer was on. He said, love Greg.
Yeah. Frank's awesome, man.
Talk about a guy with a guitar collection.
I was afraid you're going to say he posted a question 6 times and then just said, fuck you after that because we never answered it. I need to bring them on. We need to monitor.
Oh, my God. Him and what's his name? Oh, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, that guy's awesome.
Yeah, he is unbelievable. Butch Slusher.
Hmm.
He has like a bazillion guitars, Butch. All right, Greg.
Yeah,
It's
What's you roadie for me a lot of times?
I saw him roadie for you a bunch.
Yeah. In fact, he was there that night that the
I
BC
heard-
Rich broke.
He told me he had the duck.
Hey, he gave me a ESP Les Paul in 3 seconds, man. I was impressed.
Yeah, you didn't miss a beat, dude. Other than the emotion on your face. Your face said a lot, but
That's coming from a guy who
Yeah.
passed out in the middle of a set and kept playing.
I did.
Yeah.
I was crying inside, man. I was crying. $5,000 worth of crying.
Oh, and climbing.
Man, there's not a situation you can't make worse.
I'm sorry. I'm brutally, sadly honest
Yeah.
in a bad way. Okay. All right. Fine. Great.
Don't
Good
we
job.
don't
Just alienate them and make them not want to come back anymore.
There we go. We have a tagline for that somewhere.
Yeah.
I think so.
Is it working?
Yeah.
You dick.
There it is.
There it is.
See, my stuff works.
All right, man. Well, this has been awesome. I thank everybody. This was one of the
Yep.
better
Yeah.
shows.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you for, giving us some
Yeah, thank you,
respectability.
guys.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have you back on so we can get our ratings back up again. Okay.
But but hey, go to podbean.com, look for the P word. I'll put the show will be up there by tomorrow morning. So if you want to download this and listen to the bit that we actually recorded,
Yeah, you can have it
It will
in
be there.
posterity. You can play it for your grandchildren. It'll
Yeah.
be great.
put it on, burn it to a CD and throw it out in the street, whatever you want to do.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Or you can microwave and they make fractals. It's really cool.
Ooh, I
Yeah.
like that. It's fun. Mhm.
All right.
All right.
So, and then about 13 minutes ago, I think my daughter's show on Montco Radio started. So if you're really bored, go to Well, I don't know. Google Montco Radio. It's a Wix site. And I can
Yeah,
never
they
get it
changed.
right.
They changed affiliation or something. Or no,
I don't even know.
no. Matt's show changed affiliation. Something's
But,
going on.
Anyway, but Montco Radio, and she's on at 9 tonight. And you'll see how badly we screwed her up.
So look for Roughhouse /Tease, and you can see them eventually playing out. Hopefully they'll be playing somewhere soon, and maybe Instinct will be opening for them. If you're not doing anything this Friday night and you want to do an early night, you can come out to Freewheel Brewing at 7 p.m. My band, Old School Rocks Philly, will be playing from 7 to 10 p.m. and there will be a food truck.
Holy shit.
We've come a long way,
Wow.
baby. Yeah.
Roach Coach and
And we'll be-
everything.
That's cool.
Playing all the 80s and 70s hard rock hits that you love and some you hate.
And all the food left over there from. See, that's a good tagline.
Yeah.
You should have that.
And
yeah.
good beer. So
Yeah.
Oh, is that your first time in there?
it is. Yeah, Maddie McKeon booked it.
Okay.
That's his John.
Again, he's got a last name. That's so weird.
It was pretty cool. Lots of people there.
I've been there a bunch of
Like-
times. They get a lot of dead bands in there.
Yeah, that's who. Dead Band was playing there last week. You're right.
See, my buddy's trying to. I gotta talk to him. My buddy Mark Perry. His band is called Bloom and Decay, and I'm gonna talk to them. They just played up at.
He was
Rivet.
here tonight too.
I saw he
was
popped
yeah.
in for it, but he didn't comment.
He said he did comment. That's
Oh,
how
well,
I know
then
he was
I
here.
apologize, Mark. I apologize.
Yeah, he was here for a bit.
So yeah, all right,
Yeah.
Mark, Frank, Jim,
Yeah.
Tim.
Whatever.
What is your name?
Stiggs.
Stiggs.
There you go.
Have
Hey,
a
I'm
good-
playing Saturday night. The Red Stallion.
That's right. You can see the Garage Bandits Saturday night starting at
8
8
o'clock.
8 o'clock. Oh, it's another early one, kids. You listen. There's no reason to stay home. You could be home in time by midnight, 12:30.
Get to the buffet at 3:30, then shoot on over. Yeah.
That works.
I know, right?
And it's not that far. It's right there off 611.
There you go. Yeah.
Not far from the infamous Walsh's Tavern.
Well,
There you go.
Pop in there, get
Yeah.
something, pop out, pop back.
It sounds like a good night.
Yeah.
I'm going to see Vic DiPotetto Saturday night. Unfortunately, I won't be able to go.
Oh.
I apologize, Greg.
That's okay.
I'm going to the Keswick. But I will get out to see you one of these damn days when I'm off and I don't have the wife wanting to do something.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I see then.
All right, man. We'll be in touch, and
Cool.
and you be in touch.
Then yeah, be cool. Get him in here. It'd be really good to have you in this whatever the hell we have here.
Whatever this place
Yeah,
is.
maybe we'll manage to get the seats,
Studio
this chair set up without killing ourselves.
Maybe we can get some padded seats. These are terrible.
Yeah, my ass is, my bones are starting to come
Yeah,
through my
it's
ass here.
not
What's going
good,
on?
man. I mean, I'm 56. This hurts. All right. Be good, kids, and we'll see you next week at 7:30. Or maybe you'll hear us, or maybe we'll pantomime.
We'll do something.
Yeah.
You've been listening
Thanks
to
for
the
having
Helen
me.
Keller Adler.
Thank you, dude. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay in touch.
All right. Take care, man.
I'll see it. Yep.
See ya.
Bye.
All right. And that about does it for us. So we're out. We will see y'all next week at 7:30 on Tuesday. Take care. Good night.